All right. We are live. I haven't done this show. It's been 2 weeks or something. It feels like 100 years. Like it seems like we haven't been on the show in a while. I don't know what it is. I miss my friends. All right, y'all.
Nothing really happening in our industry, so.
No, nothing at all.
Static.
Super slow.
Super slow. Yeah. Yes, for sure. All right,
I don't think I've been on for, it's probably been a couple
100
months.
years. Curtis, it's been 100 years. Like it has. No, I'm saying no. But I would be happy if this show has gone on for 100 years. All right. This is the Data Center News Show.
That would make me pretty damn old.
Yeah, me too. Me too. This is the Data Center News Show where I chat with my friends about everything happening in the data center industry. And the folks that are here today, yay, I'll let them introduce themselves. All right, you go first, Curtis.
Hi, Curtis Friesen. What is my title? I'm the Director of Market Development Mission Critical for Victaulic.
Very cool. Very cool. And do you still do your gig with IDCA? I am
a consultant with IDCA as well, yes,
Very
with the
cool.
International Data Center Authority. Lots going on there too.
Exactly. Very cool. Thanks for coming. And Joshua
Feinberg from the Data Center Sales and Marketing Institute and host of the Data Center Go-to-Market podcast.
Very cool. Thanks for coming. And Marty.
Thanks for the invite.
Amy, great to be back again. So, Martin Rankus, I'm Executive Director of Data Center Infrastructure Services at Johnson Controls.
Very cool. All right. So we have a couple of topics, and it seems like every day there's a new announcement of like 100 gigawatts of something being developed somewhere, and I'm just like, really? Really? So yesterday I was at the University of Texas Energy Institute had a data center large load interconnection workshop, right? So they have this, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking with a bunch of different people, and I did not know this, but did y'all know? Are you ready? ERCOT has 200 gigawatt requests for power, like in the queue today. This is ERCOT. This is the state of Texas only. 200 gigawatts of power. And we're sitting there.
Yeah, but only 1 out of 5 of those are actually going to happen. So that's small.
Yeah, no, I know. So see, that's one of the news stories that people are talking about is people are putting all these interconnection requests in. Is it really real? Right? And so, and Texas hasn't gotten wind of what Georgia Power is doing, because Georgia Power makes you put like $1 billion deposit down just to, play ball, like just to chat. You're going to have to put these deposits down. Texas hasn't gotten there yet, right? So they're like, I don't know, what are they at? Like $100,000? We're like, sure, I'll give you $100,000 just to see if we can get power or whatever it might be. They have not gotten with it and with the times, but I think they eventually will. But it's amazing. I mean, my little site is like 450 megawatts of that 200 gigawatt queue. But that doesn't even include all like the on-site power generation that through like private use networks that are going to interconnect as well. Like the state of Texas, like holy hell, is going to have a lot of power all over the place. And trying to figure that out. So that conversation around, there's a lot of stuff that's in the queue. A lot of people don't know if it's really real. How do you kind of handle all of that? And that was a large conversation of what happened yesterday. But what do y'all think? Curtis, you're in Texas.
Yeah, I am in Texas, and it is the place to be. I'm wondering what took so long to get here.
I know, right?
8 years ago. Texas has an abundance of resources, right? We've got plenty of gas out in West Texas. It's just a matter of tapping into it. And we've got a lot of innovation in terms of like on-site power generation that will have, gas turbines. I think kind of what the question that's been looming over my head for the last, few months really is like, it's not a matter of are we going to be able to get the power? It's a matter of getting water resources to these sites here in Texas. That's something that we don't necessarily have an abundance of. And that's something I think needs to be discussed as well.
Well, I think the data center industry has a solution for some of that, right? They're going a closed loop. They don't need as much water. You're looking at, but then if you think about it, if they're doing on-site power generation, the power generators need water too, right? And some of them are getting wind of like, well, we don't have water, so they're trying to figure out this water situation. But yeah, it is. It's
Amy,
like the big question mark. Nobody knows how much water do we need. I don't know.
Well, so when you were at the thing yesterday at UT,
Yeah.
did the water issue come up at all?
It was more about power than it was water. They did bring it up, and so, but my response to them was, I'm actively in the middle of development outside of Austin, like actively. I get different answers depending on who I talk to every day on how much water I should request for this site.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the power guys are like, oh yeah, we don't need a whole lot of water. Like the natural gas power plants, like, nah, we don't need a whole lot of water. I mean, what does not a whole lot of water mean?
Right.
Like, how many gallons per day do I need to request from my little mud, so I know I make sure I've got water there for you, right? And then the nuclear guys and all these other people, they're like, oh, well, we need, like 18,000 gallons a day, or we need 5,000 gallons a day. And then the data center is also the biggest question is like, are they going to do closed loop or not closed loop? And then is 200,000 gallons a day enough? I don't know. It's just like this water thing has been.
It's kind of more of an on average number. The number I heard a couple of days ago in a lunch meeting I had was, I think it was like a 200 megawatt site. It required like 1 million gallons a day. But then the question was, is that, does that need to be fresh water? Is it potable? Maybe it makes sense for some of these municipalities here in Texas to start investing in purple pipe infrastructure, just like Loudoun County did a few years ago. And I think we've even discussed that here on the show multiple times. And I'm going to keep mentioning that as a great case study. In 2023, I think, maybe 2024, Loudoun County used over 800 million gallons of purple pipe to water to cool the data centers, which means that they saved 800 million gallons of blue pipe for residential consumption in the grid. And I think that's something that needs to be spearheaded within the local communities and the municipalities, and helping make that. And that's something also that the data center developers could get involved in the funding aspect, because there's long-term benefits for the data centers financially to be using repurposed commercial wastewater instead of fresh water. I mean, the cost of the water itself is much less than using potable water for whether it's closed loop or not. It's going to be much less.
I mean, at JCI, we're making investments in development of some of these data centers, and most everything's closed loop. So really, you got 100 megawatts, you got about swimming pool size of water to kick it all off. And then for the most part, it is nothing. But that's just a very specific application there. I will comment on, you talk about Texas, like at Tennessee, for example. I'm working on a project there. Go to TVA, said, hey, we need X amount of power. And they said, okay, well, the study is $20,000 and we'll have it for you in a year. We called a week later. It's like, oh, it's now 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's $20,000. But $20,000 is such a small amount of money.
I know, it's not worth it.
They're all going to get in the queue. It's like $20,000. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like buying a data center with no money down.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
$20,000 is not going to shoo anybody or scare anybody away, right? Like Georgia Power, what's $1 billion? Like, I don't even know. It's like insane the amount of money some of these people are asking for it versus others. Texas, I think in Senate Bill 6, it's something like $75,000 or $100,000. That's what they put the number in the law, and we're just like, that's really not. Y'all need to be charging way more money to get all the jokers out of there that are just kicking tires.
So when I was looking at this earlier, and I found a quote from the former commissioner of the Texas Public Utility Commission. His name is Carl Rabago. And he said, when it's cheaper to buy a queue position than not to lose your queue position, then you'll buy queue positions all day long. and
day
that's what's
long.
happening is everybody just
Bottom.
getting in
Yeah.
line, and it's
Yeah.
really it's polluting the pipeline really.
Yeah,
But at the same time, like,
they have this speed to market problem, right? Everybody, I'm talking to on our site, they're like, "Can you get power by 2027?" I go, "In your dreams." Like 2027 is a year away. It's November 2025. Like, so are you saying the end of 2027? Maybe we can. We might get a little bit there. I go, I don't know, because my cluster study doesn't kick off until Q4 2026. So I'm not getting you anything from the grid unless I build it, which is what we are doing. But even if we build it, it's like 2028 before we can get anything commissioned. Like,
so here's a question: Are we going to be maybe eventually walking a fine line along some antitrust issues here? Because if it's going to be taking some massive amounts of capital just to get in line,
right,
then that's going to weed out some of these entry level developers and some of the mom and pops that really want to get in on the game on the investment side. But if they don't have the staying power to even play, then only the big players are going to be the ones that are building. How is that going to be fair?
Well, maybe you have a smaller. Maybe it's it's $10,000 if you're doing 1 megawatt, and maybe it's a graduated fee or something. I don't know.
And so what I'm learning on this site, and oh Lord, y'all, it's amazing to me. I've built a lot of stuff. Like over the years, I've built multifamily, retail, hotels, whatever. Done a lot of development. This data center industrial thing, like holy buckets, just the power alone. So we're like exploring, figuring out, okay, we're going to bring natural gas to the site. How are we going to do this, and what does it look like, and how much money it costs? And I finally found a good power producer, independent power guy, and the amount of money you have to put up from letters of credit in order to get gas, just get gas to your site, is insane in the membrane. Right. And then you have to put up letters of credit to do your build. We're talking billions of dollars. And that's not hey, we got money in the bank. Here you go. We'll guarantee it. It's like, no. You can't use it for anything else. It just has to sit there on that letter of credit for this gas producer or this whatever. So the holding costs of that money on the letter, and especially when you're in millions of dollars and they can't invest it anywhere, they can't do anything. It's just got to sit there for that gas company that they can take or whatever. It's amazing to me the amount of money just to build a power plant, how much that is. Like you're talking 100 million, 200 million just in lines of credit, letters of credit sitting there just to get a little power plant built. And I know it's not little, like it's big, but it's amazing to me. And so then you're talking about that, and then you got to get the data centers built, and then all this other stuff. Building a data center is not for a small person. It's just not. It's going to take large companies to do.
Amy, did you say before? I think you said you're doing a 450. You said megawatt, 450 megawatt.
Well, it's bigger, but yeah. Our interconnection request is 450 megs, but we're actually doing on-site power generation too. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
2 gigs.
Well, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party. Yeah.
Holy buckets, you would say.
Holy buckets.
Holy buckets. Yes.
Where did
Holy
that come
buckets.
from? I like
Yes.
That is insane in the membrane.
It is absolutely insane in the membrane. Like seriously, it's but it's so funny because I've just been really lucky. And then we've had people that's what I love about the data center industry, by the way. People are so helpful. Like you go in the multifamily industry, they ain't gonna help you. They're not gonna tell you who to go talk to. They're not gonna do any of that. Like they're just and the multifamily is all everybody out for themselves and whatever. But again, the data center is like, oh yeah, go talk to this guy. Oh yeah, go talk to this person. Oh yeah, go talk to this person. That's kind of been my experience the last couple of years in this industry. And so that's how I found my power producer. That's how I found this guy. That's how everybody refers the people that they like. And, and they're decent and they're good people. I found my power producer through Overwatch. I call Anthony Garcia. He's the VP of hyperscale at Overwatch. He's like, oh, no, you got to call Wyatt. Go call Wyatt. He's got you. He'll get it taken care of. And Wyatt's great, man. He's awesome. He's totally legit. And he's like, oh yeah, we love this site. We'll build there. And I'm like, yay, but that's that. But yes, and that's how we're able to do that on that side. It's really cool because and it's just like new and like newer in the fact that he produces power, right? But he doesn't need a PPA from an off taker. He's underwriting it. He's got an infrastructure fund behind him, and he's underwriting it just to sell power to ERCOT. So if it makes sense and it pencils to sell power to ERCOT, so he's going to come build it no matter what. Mm-hmm. So now my land is truly powered because I've got somebody who will come in, build a power plant, and oh, by the way, if I co-locate someone next to him, bonus points, right? But he's underwriting it just to sell the power, which is awesome for everybody involved. It's good for him. It's good for his infrastructure fund. They're making money. Then they get better returns if I co-locate somebody next to him. But he facilitates all of that happening because he's willing to come in and build a power plant.
Amy,
right?
is he using recips or turbines or fuel cells?
He's using recips, and he's got an agreement with Wärtsilä, and they're what are they? Norwegian. Yeah, and it's Nordics. Yeah. It's probably Netherlands or something. I'm probably totally insulting them, but it's that. And so they'll come in, and he's got a footprint for 200 megawatts. So he'll go, here you go. This is the design for 200 megawatts. So you want more? We'll build you one right next to it. But they're going to come in 200 megawatt increments.
So it's modular then.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. And so he'll do all the gas pipeline construction. He pulls it all there. He's former Calpine. He ran the northwest side of the U.S. for Calpine, and he built power plants. And he really good dude. And yeah, and the only reason I found him was, no joke, I'm going to give props to Anthony Garcia from Overwatch. He introduced me to him.
Nice.
Because but it's really cool. But yeah, there's no way in hell I could have. Little old me, who's never built a data center industrial park ever, would be able to go out and go, yeah, I could do 2 gigawatts. No way. But the industry's cool. The industry's cool like that.
I'll second that. I've had good experiences for being fairly new to the industry that I found people to be very open supportive. Reminds me of the early days of software. I'm an old software guy. So back in the early days, everybody would help everybody out when you're building enterprise software. And now it's not like that at all in enterprise software. But
yeah. No, I know, right? No. We got a question
for a long time, because I've been in the business now for probably about 15 years. And one day somebody's your competitor and the next day they're your partner. You never know. And you have to treat everybody as if you're eventually going to be partnering up, because you probably will be.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because these sites are huge. Like any data center. Now we're talking, when I got the hyperscaler guys, like, okay, I don't know if 1,000 acres is enough. I'm like, what? But they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, holy hell, how much land do you really need? Like, but even then, if you're building out a campus, it's you can't just give that to one GC, right? You're going to need multiple general contractors coming in there to get a site done in time, because everybody's like, hurry. You gotta go faster. So like, you're going to have like 4 GCs in there doing different things. And the amount of, just the complexity of getting that built, that's just insane. I thought my little old mixed use, 400 acre parks were big and complex. Can you imagine a campus is like 5,000 acres, like what they're trying to do up in Abilene, whatever that.
The Fermi campus, is that 5,000 acres?
Yeah. No, it's like 10. Something like
that. They're doing 11 gigawatts there, or have they upped that?
They're doing 11 gigawatts there. Yeah. Which is another thing that to talk about. Fermi's plan is, I think, and don't quote me, Rick Perry, don't be mad at me, but I think it's they're going to actually be the nuclear power plant. Like, they're going to operate it. Yeah. And I'm like, that sounds like brain damage. Why would anyone want to operate a nuclear power plant? Just go find somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Like, and just bring them on site. Like, why would you want to do that? But they are. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's where their bulk of their money is going to come from, is on the energy side. I don't know. It's weird, but yes, it's just something like that. They've got it's a campus. I think the land's owned by Texas Tech, and so they're using university land. That's how they got around it, and then building out a lot of this different stuff. But it's definitely interesting. All right. Are you ready for the next topic? OpenAI just stepped in a pile of crap. I don't know if y'all saw, but so Sam Altman was like being interviewed. I don't know where he was at, and they was asking very pointed questions at him, like, "Hey, your revenue is 13 billion. How are you going to do 1.6 trillion in data centers? Like, what is happening here?" And Sam got all fidgety in his seat, and he was like, "Oh my god," and like getting pissed. The guy was asking him these questions, right? And then at the same time, Sarah Fryer was at a Wall Street Journal conference, and she was basically telling people, yeah, the government's going to have to backstop our loans.
Wow.
Like, it was not a good PR week for OpenAI, like at all. Like, and then the Wall Street Journal like person was interviewing, given her credit, really gave her a chance to back away from that statement. Like, was really nice to Sarah and said, is this what you're really saying? You're saying that the government needs to secure your loans? She's like, yes, because, it was almost like we're too big to fail, kind of like that kind of scenario. and everybody, and then like the government came out and said, hell no, we're not backstopping your loans. So it's been a bad week for OpenAI. But it leads to the question is, everybody was talking about, is there an AI bubble? Which I don't believe there's an AI bubble, because OpenAI is not AI, right? AI is AI, and OpenAI is one of the tools we use. But is it OpenAI really is on the precipice of stuff? I know enterprises haven't adopted AI at all. So is OpenAI going to be okay? And if it's not, they implode. Well, you've got Gemini and Claude and Grok and all the others coming along, but it was an interesting week. So I'm going to toss that one out, Joshua, for commentary about OpenAI and where they're at.
So I think we're in the early stages of writing another screenplay for another Michael Lewis movie, and I don't know whether this one's going to look more like Moneyball or The Big Short. I think it's actually going to be something completely different. But Steve Carell and Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill and everything should stay close to their agents, because there's definitely something going on. Even before, when you were talking about the idea of really radically inconsistent requirements for saying I'm going to build a big data center campus and the skin in the game kind of problem. I don't know how this totally plays out, but I do know that it almost feels like that scene in The Big Short where Michael Burry goes in and is inventing a security that never existed before on betting on the trenches of the AAA bonds being lousy bonds. So yeah, there's definitely something weird going on in different sectors here. I don't totally know what to make of it, but with OpenAI, it's interesting because at the time they came out of beta, was it now 2 years ago? It's hard to believe it's only been 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they came out of beta. Like, they came out of nowhere. I had done some work for like SaaS AI startup kind of companies in the late 2010s, and we were still getting people used to the idea of being able to trust that the models actually worked. And then all of a sudden, you got traction like that made Instagram look like a failure in terms of the initial ramp. It was just crazy, the levels of adoption that they saw. But yeah, I mean, he's got 4 or 5 credible competitors now. As recently as a year ago, people were wondering, like, is this the end of Google? Is Alphabet in trouble? Is their core ads business going to be? But they keep punching back. They had a record quarter announced a couple weeks ago, figuring everything out. I guess there's a lot of bad blood too between Elon Musk and Sam Altman on what the original premise of OpenAI was supposed to be a nonprofit, right? And I guess the solution to profitability is charging $29 a month or $199 a year or something like that for SaaS to cover some of the costs. But it seems like their OpEx and their CapEx are so far beyond what those kinds of price points could do to actually start chipping away at getting them to some kind of break-even point. So a little bit of precedence there. If you ever see the interviews going around in the early days of Amazon, where people, everyone from like CNBC to like David Letterman, we're giving Bezos a hard time about, is Amazon ever going to make money?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like, I don't think, but if you think about it, Uber is not profitable. I don't think Uber has ever been profitable 1 year. and it's like everywhere. Maybe they might have broken even like
No,
recently.
I think they did have one profitable quarter that one time.
Yeah,
Like last year.
yeah, exactly. But I know
Hey, way to go, guys!
I
But their
know,
valuation
exactly.
keeps going up because they didn't lose as much money as they.
Yeah, we're
they
losing
thought.
less.
Exactly.
So,
I'm just
I remember
like,
that interview with I remember the interview with Bezos when they said basically you're losing $5 for every package you ship.
Yeah, but they're making up for it in volume.
Yeah, right. We're making it up in volume. I remember thinking to myself,
like,
wow,
what
it's
is
like
that?
every
No.
package.
yeah, it's
you're
like,
losing
but why
$5?
can't I get that lucky? Why can't I start a company
Yeah.
that just loses money out the wazoo? People just keep giving me money. Like I've
just gotta
never
say,
been
don't
able to start a
worry, it's
company that
coming.
does that.
It's coming. It's coming.
So the true genius is being able to sell the valuation and make
Right,
it.
exactly.
Well, and
Yeah.
OpenAI is a $500 billion company somehow.
I know. I
Well,
live
they
that valuation.
guys, they keep growing. Like Josh said, they had a record quarter. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, right? You can corner your. I mean, the valuations are crazy, right? Or
Yeah.
are we even able to comprehend that kind of growth? And we're not. We're human beings. We kind of say, "Wow, that would be crazy to get there," but crazier things have happened. So when
Right.
you put that CEO in the hot seat, yeah, maybe he squiggles a little bit. For her to say the government's, why does she even say that?
I don't know.
Even
You
if
know,
you think it.
exactly.
You know,
Even if you think it, you're just like you would think, and she came from like Goldman, like she's
Yeah,
PR
it's
savvy.
don't
Like,
worry
how could you
about
make
it. The
that
government
mistake?
will pay us up. What?
I know. I'm just
Well,
like,
she rolled it back like 2 days later.
she did. She was just like,
Probably
that's not what I meant.
lot
Oh, that's
of,
exactly what you
coaching.
meant.
Was she thinking? Well, in very recent current events, there was the whole Intel thing where
Right.
the federal government was at a 10% stake in Intel now.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's what she was thinking,
Maybe
but
another government was going to bail them out, not the United
Yeah.
States.
the one that gives free
The
airplanes.
Chinese government.
Yeah.
That would have been bad. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the Chinese government was going to back them up. Yeah. that
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of what was the AI platform? Maybe it was earlier this year, and it was all the craze because of their pricing models just absolutely blew everything else out of the water.
DeepSeek.
Deep
Yes.
Sea.
DeepSeek.
Yes.
What happened? What happened? That was
It's
that was
still there.
cool, right?
It's still there. Nobody uses them because they're like banned from the US. I don't know. I've got a DeepSeek app on my phone. I just don't use it. But yeah, I got one. Oh,
Okay.
don't come hunt me down and say, please. I'm like, I don't use it. I promise I don't use it. You know. But yeah.
I mean, what did it take Trump 2 or 3 years to get someone that wanted to take on TikTok? And
I know.
I don't think that closed yet either.
No,
But-
I don't think it has.
Yeah.
I don't think it has.
That's-
Yeah, I think
So-
didn't they disprove some of that benefits with DeepSeek? I mean, they were saying basically, hey, we're using regular CPUs and we're
Yep.
able to do all of this for a lot less energy. Everybody freaked out.
Mhm.
But then there was some truth to it. But once
Yeah.
they did a deep dive, they were like, yeah, it's maybe not as great as you guys said it was, but it's still good. So
Yeah, it's good for what they did. I mean, it just proved that you don't need to spend as much on infrastructure to get the same kind of training done. Now, is their training as good as ours? No, it's still behind, but how fast they trained it, I think that was the thing. It was like, oh, well, we don't need all these millions of AI training data centers because DeepSeek can do it in 6 months with little NVIDIA servers. Or whatever. I don't know. Why do we need a Blackwell? Basically, that's what I remember the story being. But then it just died. On the days later, it seems like it's like
they're still out there. Yeah.
No, for sure. But DeepSeek was going to take over the world for a week.
Interesting sentiment that I keep hearing among guests that I have on the podcast is there's a general feeling that NVIDIA is so far ahead on channel partner ecosystem and product marketing relative to AMD or Alphabet or Microsoft trying to catch up, and anyone that's building any kind of alternative chips.
Yep.
That you're going to be at a point in the not so near future where it doesn't have to be. It can be technically better, and there's still basically an ecosystem mode around Jensen Huang at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I think as NVIDIA goes, the world goes right now. It's insane.
I mean, they just had their conference, 25,000 attendees, twice as much as last year, 300,000 people remote. So Josh, I think that's spot on. It's like you build this moat, and they're partnering with people to do everything from cooling to the chip-based cooling to the CDUs. I mean, the whole ecosystem that they're building.
It's releveling the ecosystem as well. The guy from Schneider Electric on Steve Carlini was talking about how a lot of final assembly on power infrastructure components in big facilities used to be done by integrators. It's gotten so complicated and so much more capital intensive that a company like the size of Schneider needs to step in and basically seal this whole thing off into a productized offering, as opposed to potentially having a half a dozen much smaller manufacturers and integrators involved at this point. So it's changing. That's another moat, is how we were talking about how I used to have like small colo operators as clients 10, 15 years ago that were the same kind of companies that would dabble in multi-unit and retail and stuff like that. This was back when $5-10 million actually bought something in this industry. That's gone, very, very much gone.
Yeah.
It also raises another speculative question about, the bubbles behind some of this growth. Some are saying that it's not a bubble based on the demand. It'll be a bubble based on the power supply, right? Mm-hmm. But also, we should take into a factor is the NVIDIA supply chain keeping up with the demand. Are they going to be able to manufacture enough GPUs to keep up with what we're speculating is going to be the capacities that will need to be running these platforms by 2030?
They said they're going to ship 26 million next year chips. 26 million.
26 million. Wow. That's crazy town. So I wonder why Supermicro missed their quarter. I mean, that was like a big weird deal, right? Because Supermicro uses NVIDIA chips and they build the servers. But they missed revenue. And I'm wondering it's because the data centers have they can't build fast enough. They're getting delayed. And so therefore they're not ordering servers, or maybe, I don't know. I didn't get to see the earnings call to figure out why they had missed their quarter, or maybe it was some stupid analyst. It's usually the analyst's fault, right? Because the analysts go, you're going to hit here. We're going to get guidance to here. But the analyst's like, no, you're going to hit up here. And then you meet your guidance, but the analyst was wrong. Like, I don't know. No idea. But it was definitely interesting to see all of that around Supermicro.
Yeah, last week, you may be onto something there. Last week, Bill Gates said that he's sitting on a mess load of NVIDIA chips. He doesn't have the infrastructure for it. So he's sitting on inventory. I forgot what the inventory was, but I think he said a number, some crazy amount of NVIDIA chips, because he doesn't have the data centers to put them in. So maybe it's something like that, is that the chips are there, and Supermicro is doing a great job, but where do we put them?
Where are they going to put them?
We don't know where to put them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Yeah.
We're all going to build meta tents. We're all going to build tents, and we're going to stick the servers in the tents. Maybe that's what I should do on my site. It'll work. People are like, well, I'll get the little pop-up tents.
Meta's doing that, right?
Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah.
Well, bouncy house. I mean, you got air cooling all around the bouncy house already.
There you go.
The bouncy houses.
Yes.
That sounds pretty intense to me.
That's a good one.
Could do the heat reuse thing too out of the tents.
I know.
Exactly. Coming out and do the greenhouses and the heated swimming pools.
It's easy. Just like, stick a vacuum next to suck out the heat. I don't seriously. I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm just going to put that out loud. I have no idea what I'm saying. All right. So let's talk a little bit of cooling. Everybody's talking. We're doing closed loop, back to water a little bit, but all right. Are we going to go immersion, Martin? Is people going to?
Yeah, it will play a part, and I think all these technologies will play a part. It's public knowledge that Johnson Controls invested in Celsius, which is a two-phase plate cooling company. So I believe there's a place for all these technologies to play. I don't think there's one answer that's going to dominate everything. I will say, and you guys hopefully would agree, is that as we move forward, I mean, liquid cooling is going to be a must. I mean, you can't cool these things, without liquid cooling. So I think liquid cooling is definitely the future. But there's still plenty of applications that are going to use immersive cooling and some that'll use, two-phase, single phase, they'll stay air cooling. I mean, your Bitcoin miners, you don't, you just get that, you buy your fan at Walmart and you plug it in and turn on all your things. Like,
Exactly.
Yep. That's a good point. It really depends on the application.
Yep.
Because, I think I saw earlier NVIDIA is predicting, 600 plus kW per rack by 2027. That
I know.
You have to use liquid immersion cooling for that. You have to. But there's still room for, some legacy applications that are doing, 15, 20 kW per rack. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
We'll see some hybrid approaches in the facilities, but it has to be part of the strategic design right now, because to retrofit a facility to immersion cooling is very cost prohibitive. So it really has to be part of the design.
I mean, we can't go get the little tubs at Walmart and then just stick them in we can't do that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We buy a bunch of above ground swimming pools and just stick them in the above ground swimming pools.
Every time someone's predicting that every colo facility that's more than 24 or 36 months old is going to be obsolete, not only are a lot of the analysts continuing to predict that there's a lot of conventional workloads, every time there's a massive outage, like the one with AWS a couple of weeks ago, it's like a big public service announcement to repatriate. So there's a lot of declaring that those facilities are going to be of little use going forward is probably very premature at this point.
For sure. When I remember one week Google went out and no streaming service, apparently StreamYard, Riverside, all the way, I couldn't do my show because Google had an outage.
You don't even realize, but if you think about your own tech stack, 20, 30, 40 apps that you use, no one keeps track of the dependencies when you sign up. There's no transparency at all. And even if they told you at the time that you signed up, who's to say that 6 months, 12, 18 months, year later, they don't re-architect and re-platform and move somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I know. It's definitely interesting how much this cloud services control.
Amy, you're going to have to host on your own data center you're building.
I know.
Blame yourself when it goes down. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know, which is interesting. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. I mean, I'm years away from anything being deployed. So I'm just starting. It's technically, it's just the dirt is getting prettier and prettier by the moment. I'm just saying that's where we're at. That's where we're at. The dirt's getting really pretty.
Put a webcam up so people can come by and watch the. Property.
Yes, for sure. It'll be really cool. Actually, so the cool thing is with my software company is we're going to start building out a digital twin of the site from a understanding and building out the use cases around rendering and different changes. If people want to change their footprints, I've been through 10 conceptual plans at this point, with different people trying to come in and trying to change. Oh, wait, well, we need this, we need that. What does that do? The infrastructure, the power infrastructure, or the distribution of the site. I've rendered so many things. We're building a simulation to do it. And I'm just you shoot me in the head. I can't imagine anybody who does this on a daily basis. And it's brain damage at this point, to build out a site. It's you're going through this iteration and that iteration. Oh no, we're going to change this. Oh no, we changed the rack densities. Oh no, we did this. Oh, we need it. I'm oh my God.
It seems like there's a huge need in that category because before we were talking about how do you estimate how much power you're going to need when you come online 9 months from now, 18 months from now, or how much water you're going to need and where you're located and what are the workloads and everything. So there is a huge need for SaaS startups to continue building models that model that try to more accurately predict. So you don't have to have companies going and putting a call option on 50% of the available real estate in major markets.
I know.
Essentially what they're doing, right? They're buying really inexpensive options.
Yeah. They're placing bets. They're placing bets in different places. Yeah.
So that last transaction in Loudoun County, over $6 million an acre now is what.
Holy crap! Really?
Holy buckets!
$6 million an acre. Oh man.
Yeah.
You're a farmer in Loudoun County. Y'all are like billionaires at this point.
Stopped selling apples a long time ago.
I know they did. They did.
It's the guy that started the moving company back in the 80s. He's like the main developer and a massive landowner in Loudoun County. He is absolutely,
Can't imagine.
I can't remember what's his name. It's like Chuck.
I don't even remember something. Yeah, there's like the OG of
Eddie Warbucks, was that the name?
Yeah. But can you imagine? So Texas is going to be there, right? I mean, we got a crap ton of land. And even like, the site that is 1,200 acres outside of Austin. I'm looking at another 10,000 acres just south of San Antonio.
Nice.
And it's just, there's so much land in Texas. Like it's insane in the membrane, so much undeveloped land in Texas that are close to metro areas. This one's like 30 minutes south side of San Antonio. Like it's like, how would you be able to find that anywhere? Probably. Would you find 10,000 acres in Virginia? Maybe. I don't know.
No.
I mean, not in a row.
Not in a row, like all contiguous,
You
right?
buy lots of single family homes and add them all up. And I'm taking over your house. I'm putting in a bunch of servers. I'm going to connect them to one big super microcomputer.
Yes, for
So
sure.
that's a strategy.
I'll go in on that with you, Amy. Do you need some investors?
Yes,
We got land acquisitions. All right.
yes. I need
Good.
investors. You're going to go
Start a
in? All
GoFundMe,
right.
Amy. Let's go make it happen.
Let's go make it happen. Let's do it. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of where it goes. I mean, if Texas, if ERCOT can figure itself out, and that's the whole other thing too, is this understanding, and that's one of the brain damage things I'm learning is around this whole power study and who your TSP is, and then how that matters. Like that never mattered to me before. I used to call up the electric company going, hey, I need a temporary pole. I need this here. I need that there. And I never had a problem. Like, and now it's, at the loads we're requiring, it's interesting. And I feel it's not like they're trying to do the best they can. They're being overwhelmed with requests and they're trying to figure out, okay, how do we process all of this? And what does it look like? And that's another thing too, is there was like back in the day, DOE had, I don't know, these challenges around modernizing the grid. And I talked to a professor at UT that was a part of that, where they were doing digital twins and modeling out the entire grid and doing all these different things. So you could kind of see on a large load interconnect, like what does that look like and how can we model it, and use AI or whatever. That was like a couple of years ago. And all these universities and researchers went and they participated in these innovation challenges, right? And they didn't do anything with it. And I don't know why they didn't do anything with it, because it sure would be helpful right about now when you have 200 gigawatts of power requests and you're trying to figure out, does this work or not? Or can I do this or not? Or I don't know what it is with our electrical grid, but man, it would be nice if I didn't have to wait a year and a half for someone to tell me whether I can get power, and if I get power, how much it's going to be, and then how long it's going to take to build it, which is another 4 years. Like, it would be nice to not have to wait that long.
We see more and more of the on-site power just taking off. I mean, look at Bloom's stock. Bloom.
Yeah.
So this on-site power is now not maybe we should consider it. Now it's we're definitely doing on-site power. It seems.
For sure. And I keep talking about Texas, but that's just what I know. But Senate Bill 6, and I was at that meeting yesterday, and Senate Bill 6, no one was bringing it up, so I brought it up. And I was like, this basically ensured that any data center had to do on-site power. Basically, that it was an unintended consequence of what they were doing. But basically, you have to, if you're over 75 megawatts, you better build something, because that's the only way you're going to get it. And not only do you have to build it, then you also have to connect it to the grid. And you have to have a curtailment provision, and you have to do this, that, and the other. But you, by golly, better build it, because we're not building it for you. That's basically the unintended consequence of SB 6. And I don't think that. And so I was telling them this at the meeting, and no joke, I had a state senator come up to one of his staff members come up to me after the meeting going, we were kind of the architects of SB 6, so I would really like to hear what you're talking about, because we would love to like see if there's any way to fix some of that. I was like, yeah, you like, this is what's happening. This is what you basically just did. And they were like, oh yeah, let's chat. I was like, okay, good to know.
What if you have two adjacent sites that are 37.5 megawatts each?
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you have to do that?
No. So as long as you can skip the large load interconnect process as long as you're below 75 megawatts, but you still have to go through a process. Like anything over 10 megs is still going to go through a process. It's just not the large load cluster study thing. So yeah, you could do 50, 50, 50, 50, right? And try to get away with it. They'll figure it out over time. But you're still going to go through a process with them. It's just not the cluster study thing that now ERCOT requires you to do. And oh, by the way, the third party, they used to get away with hiring an engineer. You'd pay them a little bit more, but you can get your study done in a shorter time. That's all gone away now in Texas. You can't do third party anymore. So you have to go through LCRA. You have to go through whoever the TSP is to get the power study done because they're going to do them in clusters.
Well, that's going to slow things down, right?
Yes, because LCRA, God bless them, I get it, but they're like, their power studies would take you about 9 months to do. You could pay an engineering group like Jacobs, EPE, whoever, to do it for you in about 4 months, right? And they would LCRA, you would pay Jacobs through LCRA. LCRA would hire them, and they had access into LCRA system. But now that's not the case anymore. LCRA is going to do it, and you're stuck with it, and too bad, right?
Well, that's going to pollute the pipeline also. I mean,
I know, right?
They don't have the bandwidth to be.
They don't.
That many requests.
I know. That's why they're trying to do them in clusters, and because they went to this cluster thing like MISO and PGIM does. So they'll take all the requests in this one area and do them all at the same time and do the study of the impacts of all of this. But how do you know out of the 100 this one cluster if they're real or not? And if you're doing cluster studies, like you're back to this whole guessing game around power. And like, okay, we've got 56 requests and we're going to come back and do all this work and come back and tell them, and then like 20 drop off. And so the impacts of the other 36 who are really real, well, that changes the game for everybody, right? It's just, I mean, man, I don't know, how else do you manage it? Like, how do you do this other than building on site and then eventually connecting to the grid? That's what I'm saying. You just build it on site because you can't wait around for the power company to figure it out. And then you just connect to the grid.
And we just redo the Homestead Act. And federal government will give away plots of land to anybody that's willing to build a data center on it.
Exactly. Let's do it. I know.
That's how we're going to beat China.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh, but the other thing too, I keep talking about what happened yesterday, but the somebody said that if you take a poll of public opinion, the data center industry public opinion is really bad. Like if you were to say, yeah, so you know that, but comparative to nuclear power, it's still 10% lower than nuclear power.
Wait, it's worse than nuclear?
Nuclear is worse than nuclear power.
How is it compared to
those are going to start becoming the same conversation.
They're going to be the same conversation. So like, get over yourself. Like, yes, exactly. It's going to be the same conversation.
That's crazy. Wow.
It is crazy. And
I believe it.
Yeah, I do too, because and I don't know who it is in the data center industry that should be the voice of the data center. I think it's this show, honestly, personally. I think it's the show.
We're the right people.
We're the right people, but someone needs to be advocating for the industry. And yes, we've gotten black marks for water usage, and you get those bag hit pieces that some journalists write because they don't know anything else. And, and there's nobody defending the industry, I don't think. I would think the Data Center Coalition would, but I haven't heard a lot out of them. I think they just talk amongst themselves. But there needs to be a voice piece for the industry for sure. Like when we were at DCD Virginia, it was the same thing. Like Sean Farney had a panel, and Karen Petersburg from Powerhouse was on it. Nancy Novak from Compass. I'm spacing on the dude's name from AECOM. And Vince from Oracle were on it. And they kept talking about this, like, we need someone to advocate for us for workforce development. We need someone to advocate for us for, in the industry, because nobody's advocating for the industry. And I was just like, well, that's true. Like, it's kind of all, they were so damn busy, are all doing other things. Right. But there needs to be a coordinated effort with the community colleges and doing this. And it's just happening in piecemeal at the moment.
It's actually more complicated, because what I've noticed over the last 10 years is, especially among the data center operators, and this is more a US problem than a global problem, is there's a massive amount of muzzling and censorship that prevents more people from doing what we're doing, literally at a grassroots effort. Otherwise, it would make no sense. And there's literally only about 100. There's literally only about 100 English-speaking data center digital infrastructure-related podcasts on the entire planet.
Oh, so you and I we're 2% of the world.
It's not a big ecosystem, really. There are literally dozens of people a year I talk to whose bosses and companies are preventing them from speaking at panels, speaking at webinars, because they're not media trained, they can't script it. A lot of the people that are speaking in conferences are only speaking at the conferences because their employers have a high degree of confidence that the conference producers are not going to let them go off the rails and go off message. And even if they did, they could somehow fix it in post-production.
Because, you got Sarah over at OpenAI telling them.
Yeah, it didn't work for her too well.
I'm going to go ahead and officially nominate Alyssa Miller and iMiller PR to lead this effort.
Yes, for sure. There needs to be like this third party. I'm surprised. I mean, why was the Data Center Coalition not taking this mantle? Like, they're the group of all the data center owners, right? Advocate. I mean, I don't. But Melissa.
Familiarity with a project in Tennessee that got shot down, and it's interesting. It would come across as education. I mean, people show up to these town halls, and they're quoting stats that are just wrong.
They're making them up.
They're making I don't know where they're finding it, but it's like a gang mentality. And I'm not saying they don't have valid concerns. I mean, but
no, I know. I was putting up with a lot of misnomers yesterday at UT. I was like, no, that's not it. No, and it's hard for me to shut up. I'm like sitting in the audience going, that's not right. That's not right.
If you go back to a lot of the grassroots lack of education problems, in many ways, at least in the US, everything is a minimum of 10 years behind. Like, if you think about, if you know any kids that are in high school or college, and I've talked to a lot of schools and professors and everything about this issue, like, you can take cybersecurity classes, you can learn QuickBooks, you can learn Python using a textbook from 10 years ago. But like, there's no great, and I guess this is part of what Nomad Futurist is working on, is to try to improve the awareness in K-12, especially in 6 to 12, to get more students interested in these careers, regardless of whether they're going into a more traditional IT career that may benefit from a traditional 2 or 4 year degree, or going into the trades. There's certainly a lot of work to do there. I see another big PR quicksand that no one seems to be doing a really great job either. With the part of the ecosystem that I work in, with go-to-market teams and sales and marketing and customer success and account managers and professional development, a lot of publicly traded companies are sending some really talented mid-career people out of the industry so they can temporarily make this quarter's numbers, all because something has shifted where they've decided that the part of the company they were working in would be either channel partner focused or self-service marketplace focused. So, and then at the same time, they're whining and crying that they can't fill all of these voids in entry level roles. So the question is, at some point, when does it actually earn some companies some good social goodwill to say, okay, yeah, we're going to take some of the people that are mid-career, that are, for argument's sake, between like 30 and 50, and come up with an internal reskilling program to move them into some of the high demand areas, because they have 10 or 15 years of experience in the space. They know the industry incredibly well. Their soft skills are impeccable. And yeah, it's a 3 to 6 month investment to get them to ramp, but you hire someone who's 20, 21, 23 years old. Yeah, the talent is cheaper, but they're also going to have a 6, 12, 18 month ramp time to get them to be productive.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you would think they would do everything. all of the above, right? To solve this problem. It's like this misnomer that people have is that, and this kept going over and over. Yeah, you could bring a data center, but it's not going to bring a lot of jobs to your thing. And I'm fighting. It's like, that's not true. I mean,
it's the ecosystem that no one is really good at explaining.
Exactly.
The 57 different business models. Even in the construction part, there's dozens of business models underneath the GC.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
the economic benefits. Loudoun County gets $1 billion a year in tax revenue.
I know.
From data centers alone, 44 cents on the dollar goes to public schools.
Yeah.
Nobody's complaining about how great the schools are. And one of the lowest individual tax rates in the entire country because of the $250 million surplus that the county has every year for a population of maybe 450,000 people.
Yeah.
So, you're welcome for all the money, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly. It reminds me. Yeah. But so I'm just thinking like, well, okay. Yeah, and that was a little bit of it. But if you get, you're not only getting tax revenue, you're getting construction jobs. But now that there's power generation next to pretty much every data center, the power generation brings in tons of jobs. Mm-hmm. So the data center industry, whether it was, it is responsible because they're paying for the damn thing to be built and to have all those jobs there. And then all the ancillary jobs. I really wish there was a study of, yes, the data center itself might not have initially long-term jobs, but all the periphery jobs, all the tradespeople and all the other secondary, everything, like probably brings like 10x outside of itself, the jobs, right? And so I would really wish there was like an economic development thing of one data center coming into your county. What does that do for you? Right.
That's another school district challenge to fix. Exactly. Is instead of getting the teachers to flog the heck out of the teens to get better SAT scores and go to more prestigious colleges so they can graduate and go work as a barista because they can't get a job with their sociology degree or their economics or their finance degree. There needs to be a more honest conversation about, there's like 6-figure electrician and plumber jobs that can be within your reach within your early 20s with no debt.
Yeah.
We got to get Mike Rowe on the show, Amy.
Yes, we should. We should get Mike Rowe. Did you see Aligned just had Mike Rowe out on a thing? Aligned Data Centers did. Probably because
he was out, right? I saw that.
Because when BlackRock comes in and buys you, you get Mike Rowe.
Aligned's doing some great stuff lately. I got to hand it to him.
Yeah, I know he is. I got to see him at a conference. He came and spoke at a conference, and he's funny as hell. Like he's just really entertaining. So my micro trivia for you. He's a former opera singer. I don't know if y'all know that. At the Baltimore opera or something. He's like a former thing. And then he tells his story about how he first got into TV. And it's hilarious because you're listening to him, and he was like trying to interview this guy. He was in San Francisco, and they were in the sewer system, like the old sewer system of San Francisco. Like it's disgusting. And he's going down in there, and the guy's repairing like the old bricks, like San Francisco is so freaking old. They have bricks inside their sewer stuff. Mm. And he was like, the guy was videotaping it. He goes, my camera guy threw up like 5 times.
Oh my God.
Doing this segment. And he was, and Mike was trying to be really conscious about asking him really good questions and all this other stuff, right? He gets going, my questions were awful and all this stuff. He goes, but when I listened to it, he goes, what I figured out was it wasn't me that was telling the story. It was the guy that was fixing the sewer that had all the stories. The guy that was doing the work every day. He knew the history about what happened and why this was built and where this was. And he goes, and that's what became the show. When I started listening to the people actually doing the work, which was really cool. It was a really cool story. But the guy's super entertaining. It's like, he should come out. He should definitely be on the show. I'm thinking, anybody know Mike? We need to get Mike on the show.
I'm sure we can get.
Oh, we could do this. And we're going to get Jensen Huang to come on the show too. We got to get Jensen since he's basically piloting the whole world. Elon Musk thinks he's piloting the whole world. He's not. It's Jensen Huang. So we got to get Jensen on the show too. For sure. Well, this has been super fun. I've missed you guys. It's been forever and a day. bet we're here at the end of our hour. We made it.
So fast.
So fast. So much fun. I love this show. All right. So, Curtis, if people would like to get a hold of you, how could they do that, sir?
Add me on LinkedIn or email me at curtis.friesen@victolic.com.
Very cool. And Marty?
I am on LinkedIn. Martin Rinkes, the only one.
The only, really? No
Nice.
way. Really? The only one?
No way.
The
I
only
have.
person on LinkedIn. There's just one.
I have.
Wow. I'll have to check. I don't know if there's any other Amy Palvido. I'll have to check. See if there's another one. Weird. That's cool. Awesome. Only Martin Rinkes. And Joshua?
Just look me up on LinkedIn, Joshua Feinberg from DCSMI. We also have a great email newsletter that comes out on Sundays. If you do anything related to being a founder, entrepreneur, CEO, product, sales, marketing, you can subscribe at www.dcsmi.com.
Awesome sauce. All right. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks, Amy.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Amy.
Take care, Martin. Bye, Curtis.
See you.
Bye.